Iran-Israel conflict. Two countries who have been in disagreements since the 80s. Before 1979, they were relatively friendly one to the other, until Iran took issue with many of the policies of Israel in regards to their stance against the Palestinians. While there is much to wrap our heads around, I am not one to speak to what I don't quite understand. But here's what I do understand: the genesis of the conflict between the Israelites and the Palestinians. Imagine living in a land and a group of people come and push you out of that land, claiming it to be theirs. A real factor of the conflict. Yet, it was God's doings. Who are the ancestors of these groups of people? It is a complex history. Yet, it's God's allowance. All of relations in some way, somehow. Have these two nations, Israel and Iran, formerly known as Persia, in modern history, have they directly gone to war before? The answer would be no. It is that point that I can speak to. End time prophecies. What is that about? It tells us about a time in history where lawlessness behavior would heighten. We know about that. It tells us that nations would gather in a common goal to stop Israel. We have seen it many years. Iran is at the forefront of these conversations. Its involvement in the end times is to be among the nations that are involved in the battle of the end times. In Ezekiel chapter 38, it outlines where Iran will be among the allies with the enemies of Israel. One thing prophecy teaches us that this vast army that will join forces won't truly show up on the scene against Israel until a certain time when they would be a peaceful and an unsuspected people. And truly, that is not now. So let me leave you with two things to speak on and to think on. Remember, many people have done horrible things, and God, for whatever his reasons, have allowed it for his purposes. Remember Joseph's brothers who sold him into slavery. Yet, it was a God setup. God using sin for a greater outcome, I know, is complex for many people. And that being the reason why I believe that them who say that they are believers of the Lord should do their level best not to take sides. Yes, it's possible to pray peace without taking sides. There's a stretch of land within Israel that the true believer should be mindful of, and that's Jerusalem. Many things are on fire spiritually in our nation and the world based on global events. Yet I cannot stress enough to get people to understand they need to know their Bible. There's a verse which says in Philippians chapter 2, verse 12, it is phrased, work out your own salvation. Well, just like I've said, there is much to look at outwardly. And while it's going on, it is the individual's job that the inner workings of each person they be mindful of and ask God's help that they may stand in the day of judgment. So we watch and we pray. But when people have said this feels different, it is different because it's ushering in a season. But no one knows the day or the hour. But the signs are clearly blowing in the wind.